This many people in the Bow Valley already, trying to coexist with the most difficult things to keep in the system with us, like grizzly bears and wolves, we've pushed it right to the wall. And nobody knows when the wall falls over. We know that we're at 85% of that situation being compromised, and nobody knows whether it can take another 1%, 3%, 5%, or no percent before we actually lose those values. And to lose those values would be a societal failure. Keeping those values would be a societal success.
If we have 85% lost, that means we have 15% left, and so it does matter. We're at a stage right now where every little bit of land that's left is important.
The 15% left is Grizz corridor. Grizz corridor is the last route for them to get to protected areas on either side. We know from radio collar data of wolves in yellow and grizzly bears in blue that this is the last route for wildlife to get around the town of Canmore. Canmore already presents a maze of development for wildlife to get past. The last thing they need is the addition of the proposed Three Sisters development.
I mean, the current proposals, the existing proposals for those lands, to me represent just doubling down. I mean, doubling down quite like mathematically, right? Like doubling the population with more of the same. This valley is, it's a high value montane landscape with continental significance for species at risk. We're seriously going to give that up for more of the same for the wealthy people of the world?
We now know so much more about the ecological role of corridors than we did 30 years ago. This is no longer an experiment. Once these developments are in place, there's no going back.
Possible solution for that land is purchasing it back from the developer. That's going to be a big price tag, but there's a big cost that we have to be willing to bear to save this area and to save our wildlife populations.
You know, whatever we do to add stuff needs to be done living within the context of what this valley can support for all the species that belong here. In a place where there's wolves and grizzly bears and elk and deer and bighorn sheep and all those exciting species that define the Rocky Mountains. And humans need to learn to live within the landscape in a way that doesn't push the rest of the inhabitants out. And that's the issue here.